Hello, USC fans. Connor Morrissette and Chris Trevino. We're here on campus after USC's 12th practice of fall camp. We are, of course, with USCFootball.com, and it's time for instant analysis. Chris Tackett Curtis has a new nickname. He was with the ones in the pursuit drills today on defense. Curtis, of course, USC star freshman linebacker. He had a big day, it seems like, today, and we learned his new nickname.
Right. Captain America, which, as a Marvel person, you know, that is a great nickname to have bestowed upon you. And Marshawn Lloyd was the one who kind of said it. Like, we call him Captain America, or I call him Captain America. You asked him the question about Tackett Curtis, and we actually found out that it was Kyle McDonald, the running back coach, that has given him the nickname or dubbed him the official name, which, you know, if a running back coach and you as a linebacker are getting that nickname, that means you're doing something pretty good. And, you know, Marshawn Lloyd said something to the effect, you know, like Captain America, he is unstoppable, and that's kind of what the why he has the nickname of Cap.
Yeah, and asking guys after practice, I've been going through and saying, who's been the breakout player of camp? Who's been the breakout player of camp? To all these different players. And pretty unanimously, the answer has been Tackett Curtis. So, Chris, with that information, I ask you this. Is there a chance that he becomes a starter in his first year here, even though the linebacker group is so much deeper than it was a year ago with Mason Cobb and Eric Gentry healthy? Is there a way he breaks into that first group?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question, a really tough question, because he is just a true freshman who has to learn a defense. You know, we know Tackett Curtis has a lot of physical gifts. He's a hard hitter, probably one of the hardest hitters on the team. He's aggressive. It sounds like he's progressing. He's a dog in the weight room, puts in the work. So he has all the measurables that you want to see him, you know, be on the field as a starter, but, you know, it's still a true freshman. I still have to hesitate and say that I think at some point he is going to be a heavy part of the rotation. You know, injuries hit the linebacker core hard last season with Shane Lee going down, Eric Gentry going down, Raylan Goforth going down at one point. Two guys were playing with broken bones in their hands, so it was a terrible situation. They just had to grind through it. Now you have more depth. I think at some point we're going to see Tackett Curtis start a game. What exactly that looks like, I bet it's injury or it's through his play. Either one could be given the case for him, but, you know, people are saying all the right things about Tackett Curtis. I still think Eric Gentry and Mason Cobb are the guys going into the season, but hey, if you want to go out there and throw him and give him a start for San Jose State or Nevada, you know, that's time where he can build some confidence and get it going and hopefully pay off down the road in the end of the season.
We talk about Tackett so much on Instant Analysis because the players are mentioning him and they're bringing him up. His play really has been impressive based on everything we've heard, because we're not allowed to watch a lot of practice, so we can't see it all for ourselves, but based on what we're hearing from players, they love this guy. One specific story, Jamil Muhammad mentioned how in the scrimmage, Tackett Curtis made a play in the backfield and started to talk a little trash to Caleb Williams. So not only is he playing really well, but he's getting comfortable as an early enrollee now in his second semester at USC. I think that bodes really well for him. So I don't know if we'll start it out early like you said, Chris, but when Lincoln Riley talks about guys needing to seize the opportunity for playing time, he comes to the top of the list in terms of guys who have done that.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, with him being first team on the pursuit drills, remember, that is not a clear reflection of what it's looking like when they're in team periods, but to give him the opportunity says he's been doing the right things in practice, in the film room, to get that opportunity to be out there with the first team. And look, there is so much hype on this kid, Mr. Tackett Curtis, and I hate to build it even more, but this is what the players are saying, and we're just kind of reporting it back to you. So, you know, if he comes out and struggles a little bit as a true freshman, and I don't want everyone to just say, oh, it was all worthless. I mean, no, it's not. I mean, he's doing these things on the practice field, but you still have to get reps in a real game. You have to see real life bullets. You can only do so much on the field. So maybe he starts off a little slow, you know, and I know a lot of people are expecting him to be all pro out the gate, but, you know, give him some time, whatever that may be. But I think by the end of the season, Tackett Curtis is going to have an impact on this team, and he can start out at special teams and be an impact player, especially as a hard hitter. And Caleb Williams, you know, he was asked about the trash talking, you know, and we were asking about his nickname in Captain America. He says, I haven't called him Captain America, but if I had to call him something, it would be Destroyer. So two really good nicknames right off the bat, especially coming from someone nicknamed Superman.
Amazing. Okay, let's get to some other aspects of practice, Chris. So today we were lucky. We got to watch a drill where the offensive line went up against the defensive line and some linebackers, and I'll try my best to explain this drill quickly here. So it would be two interior offensive linemen against one defensive lineman, and then a linebacker coming from the second level to try to get to the make-believe quarterback. There was no quarterback in this drill, so it was two interior offensive linemen against an oncoming linebacker and a defensive lineman who started at the line of scrimmage. When they moved out to the tackles, it was one-on-one, a defensive lineman against just one tackle. What did you see from that drill? Who impressed you the most?
Yeah, it reminded you of that old school drill that teams don't really allow to do anymore. We have a running back, a linebacker, and two offensive linemen or a defensive offensive lineman battling in the trenches. It reminded you of that, but the skill was kind of built on having that second offensive lineman peel off the initial block and kind of make contact with that linebacker coming in. Yeah, it was fun. It was back and forth. This was the best drill we've seen in a Lincoln Riley practice in terms of this year for the most part. I was actually surprised we actually got to see it. I thought maybe they made a mistake and we weren't. I was like, okay, no one's going to stop us. So yeah, it was fun. They were physical. They were getting after it. Sean New was very fired up. He said something to the effect of, screw those offensive linemen for his defense. So
that's the PG version.
That's the PG version. So they were getting after it. It was a fun drill to watch. Guys battling, a lot of people going crazy. Sam Green had a big win against Mason Murphy, and the defensive line got really hyped, especially Solomon Byrd. But yeah, there was also an aspect of they would have an offensive tackle go against a defensive end outside of the two interior guys going. So it was a lot going on, 4 guys going at a time, 2 guys going at a time, but it was a really fun drill to watch.
I thought Solomon Byrd had a really good rep against Jonah Monheim, which was interesting, and asking guys who's been the breakout player. Garrison Madden mentioned Solomon Byrd. He is listed as a rush end, but he's been repping more with the defensive linemen. The rush ends were not a part of this drill. It was defensive linemen only. So Chris mentioned Sam Green. Sam Green, who's been with the rush end so much, he was with the defensive line today. So that was another change. With Romello Height now with the rush ends after coming back from injury, that moved Sam Green to the defensive line from what we were able to see. So I thought that was interesting. Solomon Byrd had a good rep. And then another interesting part of that, Chris, Justin Dedeaux, of course, the first-team center, he was playing alongside Alani Noah, who's been getting reps at second-team left guard with Gino Quinones moving over to second-team center. And Alani Noah continues to really impress me. I thought he held his own in this drill, looked really good.
Yeah, putting the young guy against the old head, Justin Dedeaux, seeing them work together, and they were pretty impressive together. I mean, obviously it helps when you have a guy like Justin Dedeaux as your partner, but Alani Noah was making contact. He was being physical, and there were a couple plays where he swallowed up some linebackers on that second block. So I thought Alani Noah and Justin Dedeaux were one of the best combos that we saw out there in this drill.
Me too. Dedeaux pushed around Mason Cobb during one rep, which was impressive to me. Chris, for the first time in I don't know how many days, weeks, months, maybe even years, Jude Wolfe talked to the media today. USC's tight end who's missed so much time with injury. He is now back healthy. He addressed his journey to getting back to being healthy and how excited he is about the season. What did you learn talking to Jude Wolfe today?
By his estimate, it's the first time he's talked to the media in 10 years, so that's maybe a little overestimation. But yeah, it was great to have Jude Wolfe back talking to us. He's always a great quote. Very, very intelligent kid, very smart kid. So, he says a lot of good things, and he's a mature guy as an older guy. So it was nice to have him back. If you don't really know his story, he broke his foot going into last season, didn't come back until the very end, but couldn't really get any real playing time, got a couple of special team snaps here and there, and then re-injured the foot going into spring camp, so he missed all of spring camp. So he's back out here. He looks great. I mean, just looking at him come out, and you could tell he has a new appreciation for football. He's out here jogging, and he said it just feels so good to be back. He's missed it. He's just taking every second that he's out on that field. He's taking it in because, he's missed so much time. But yeah, Jude Wolfe, it's a small tight end room. He is an older guy. We feel like he can have an impact for this team and offense. Tight end as a group needs to kind of step up, but there are reps up for grabs. There's not a lot of scholarship tight ends in that room, so they're a tight, intimate group. But him and Lake McCree are kind of the older guys with 2 young guys in there, Carson Tabarachi and Cade Eldridge, the freshman. So Jude Wolfe, 6'6", looks like he's slimmed down a bit. Looking more wide receiver than tight end. Might be a weapon in that H-back role. So I think a lot of fans are excited to have Jude Wolfe back and maybe give a little more juice to that tight end room.
Wolfe was also asked about, as a Clay Helton guy, what's been the difference between that regime and this regime, and his answer was interesting, I thought. He said accountability. Guys are held accountable more under this regime, and it's everyone showing up on time. It's not people being late here and there. He just mentioned being accountable as a big difference between the last regime and this regime, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, if you have no accountability in anything, work life, team, college football program, things are going to fall apart real quick and you're not going to get the results you want. Someone told the story, I can't remember who, they told the story at Media Day about how the first kind of Saturday after Lincoln Riley took over, they would have to do one up down for everybody that missed a practice or was late to something. The first Saturday they did 131 up downs. That's a combined everyone throughout the week. So think about that in that first week. How many things were slipping through the cracks? How many things were going unnoticed or uncalled? Nothing was being called out. So to have that's what people are talking about. And I feel like we ask players about that for the culture. A lot of them say accountability. That's like the first thing they say. So that's the first thing of building a culture. And yeah, I mean, that's a big thing. And Lincoln Riley and the staff have backed that up with the culture we've seen them built, and going on 2 years now.
Chris, we'll wrap up with this. Zach Branch made the highlight reel catch during the media viewing portion. A beautiful basket catch, got one foot down, before going out of bounds. So a legal play. It was against air, but the catches that he's able to make are just so incredible. Even when it's not against the defender, you can just see it with him. He's one of those guys, such a highly rated recruit. You can see why when you watch him play. And then Dennis Simmons, the wide receivers coach, after practice, he was asked, what role can we expect Branch to play? And he said he's going to play one. He didn't say I would guarantee it. He just kind of ended it. He's going to play a role. So he continues to really impress. And when the receiver room is as deep as it is, it really says something that a freshman can come in and make an impact. I have pretty high expectations for him. He's like the Tackett Curtis of the offense for me. I think those are the 2-star freshmen that fans are going to need to know about heading into the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's, as a coach, it makes your job easy to see a guy like that. It's like, let's not overthink it, and he's going to play. I mean, he is special with the ball in his hands. I feel like we're talking about like a junior All-American coming back as a true freshman. That's kind of the way he carries himself. He's very confident. He puts in the work, though. That's what's impressive with all of his teammates, that he puts in the work, and he just moves different. You see him out there, he moves at a different speed. It's like you listen to a podcast at 1.5. It's like he's running out there at 1.5 compared to everyone else. So he just moves different. You got to get the ball in this guy's hands because he's a playmaker. Take the top off of a defense with that 10-3 speed, put him on special teams, make some plays. He's going to have a role in this team. We won't know what it looks like, but I expect big things in that season opener. Get him the ball.
Yeah, I expect him to have a role as well, especially if that game gets out of hand a little bit. Then you might really see him, because if he isn't with that starting unit, we could see a lot of depth guys go out and get some run. And who knows, maybe he'll even be with that starting unit. He's been that good. So.
He might be a reason why the game is out of hand. He's catching 60-yard bombs off the top from Caleb Williams. So, yeah, everyone's excited just for some football, to see people on the field again, get back in the Coliseum, see these new players like a Zach Branch, like a Tackett Curtis. So, yeah, excited about it, ready to play, ready to see him play.
The excitement level is so high, and we got to try to keep it real and not be biased, but there's a reason the excitement level's so high, and the season can't get here soon enough. So he's Chris Trevino. I'm Connor Morrissette. We're with USCFootball.com. This has been Instant Analysis. Chris, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks, Connor.